When I think of GrowthFactor, I think innovation. I mean, the second part of that is how helpful everybody is and how the platform is obviously very helpful. But I think of all the different iterations you're going through, how it's constantly changing and getting better. And it really is customer directed about what we want to see. So I've been in real estate as a whole for 20 years. I've been in site selection for about 10 for franchisees. I think some of the pain points I had before, and probably the biggest one actually, was just usability of the platform. So everything that we've used have required a lot of time investment to figure out how to use it, what we needed, more or less like people telling us what we needed instead of asking what we needed, which was a huge kind of paradigm shift. I mean, there was a lot of that too, but that was a big deal. I think one of the reasons I hopped on it and was so excited to work with them so early on was just, I think one, the mission of being really retailer heavy and really gearing all of their information in the platform towards what we're looking for rather than trying to be something for everybody. But also the availability to bring in the data that we really needed. Clyde worked really hard to get all of the information that we specifically needed for our use before we even signed on as a customer. So I thought that was really impressive. Everybody's so responsive. That was probably the biggest thing too, was that everybody's been so available, and a lot of it was just, here's the platform, here's what we do, here's how to use it. Now you tell us, what do you need? Here's who you talk to go find this. And there's always somebody there. So that's probably been the biggest, best selling point that you have, but also why the others are not as good. Yeah. Even though I'm the primary user, we have people on our team that are not daily users of it. So the more intuitive it can be and the less time that they have to spend learning it, the better. Because with our old platform, they would go so long in between actually looking at it that they would forget how to use it. So if it's a really intuitive process, they're more likely to use it too. And that's less of my time that I have to spend reteaching them how to use things. But also, I think you remember, you showed me the deal dashboard and I was like, this is it. This is it for me. Nobody else has it. Nobody else has done anything close to it. And it helps a lot. So having that, it's super easy. Dick, for instance, can go in and just look and see how people are progressing without even asking me. And he needs to know where people are at through the process, because we also use that for opening, right? So they can see how many sites are, active, how many have we disqualified for one reason or another. But again, it's visibility that I don't have to relay. So that's been really helpful, but it's also really nice because now you have that handy dandy feature where you can just click on a site and then it goes right to the map and I know about it. Which was nice, because then all I had to do to figure that out was talk to you and Raj was like, oh, it's right there. So again, I have somebody just telling me oh, that's how you do that. Yeah. And there's an actual response there from somebody. But it's really nice also to just move things through different qualification stages, because it's such a long process that actually feeling like you're making progress, sometimes it feels like you don't, but that helps. Yeah. That's probably the biggest one. Oh no, that's a lie. So the other one is the maps feature, where we can have different territories. So we use that for market availability. So I have to relay to Dick what markets are available, what ones we want to have, what we want to really push towards everybody that we've already qualified as a good area to go into. And if it's not on the map, it's not that it's not available, it's just maybe a less desirable area kind of thing. So that took so much work off of my plate, because I used to have to make PowerPoint slides about what was available. And now he can just go in the software and see. It would be a huge bummer, because we'd have to put it all the way back out to RFP, which is a long process. It's a long decision-making process. But not only that, I'd have to go back to one of the platforms that I've already vetted. Most of them I've already used at some point, and I don't like them for one reason or another. So there's a clear reason why we went with GrowthFactor, and we're very happy. So I'd rather not trade down and go back to an old platform that doesn't have the deal dashboard. I mean, that's a big part of it, right? It's just there's there's the two sides. There's the market viability side where we're just looking at general areas and if it matches our qualifications. And then when I go to actually look at a physical site and look at the demographics, the site score is the easiest thing to use, but the AI tool that actually shows a breakdown of what the market looks like and has the site and resources to like actually back it up is super helpful because it's clickable, and that's really nice. Really helpful for us too because it's just a quick at a glance and then I see exactly why we're given that score, but also what's lower on it and the interpretation that we can use to look at it and say, oh, okay, we don't need to worry about foot traffic. And that was helpful too, by the way, because I talked to Clyde a lot about what's actually important to us and what we need to have like weighted differently. So that was super nice and customizable too, because we don't care if we're not visible, for instance. So we could back that up. We don't care about foot traffic because we're a daycare, everybody drives. So that was critical too, is it actually is geared towards our business. And then just, yeah, the site score is really nice. I find it's very reliable, and everything that, for instance, when I turn a site over to a franchisee and say, I feel really good about this one, it has everything we want, they usually drive by and go, oh my gosh, it's fantastic. It's by the school, it's by all these kids, you know, that kind of thing. Conversely, if the site score is not very high and then they drive and they're like, there's nothing here. So a lot of that has matched up, and I found it to be very reliable.
Nice.
It actually legitimately feels like a partnership. I know who I can go talk to if I need anything. Even when you're busy, I know that I can talk to Banks and he's very responsive, or Raj if something needs to be changed. It actually does feel like you guys care. Whereas a lot of people, I went to terminate the contract with our old provider and they didn't even respond to a termination. And they didn't ask why we were leaving. They didn't care. I had to find 4 people and then they went, okay, thanks, bye. And it didn't feel like they cared whether we were there or not at all. And I think even having your customers come in and getting us to meet each other and seeing how much you guys care about every one of us is huge, and that you actually care about our growth. You want to be accurate. I've never had somebody come back and say, how do you feel about our data? Does it reflect what you're seeing in the market? Do you think it makes sense? There's never been that, you know, mutual communication. Market planning is a very tedious process, but just having an at a glance, yes, this is where you want to be, no, it's not, saves me so much time that I don't have to spend trying to figure that out for myself. So, I mean, that's hours of work already. So to just have something spit out, kind of a rough rundown of, you know, all of those things, it's a huge time saver.